Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dirty Martini. I hope you're doing well and I hope you're having an amazing day. I am yet again, for the I don't know what time this year, going to tell you a travel story, which is by any means no different from all the travel stories I've told you before, because it's the same route, the same planes, the same trips, and whatsoever. But still, somehow every single time new shit happens, and I've just started perceiving stuff that happens to me, stuff that happens at me, as just content for the podcast. Because when you switch your perspective, you start seeing yourself, you stop seeing yourself as the victim, and you start seeing everything that happens to you as a lesson, or at least as a story to tell for everyone to hear online and to be held against you for the rest of your life. So buckle up and let's get it started. So I had the privilege of coming home in Bulgaria for the Christmas holidays to spend them with my family and my friends. And because the thing is, Bulgaria, for whatever reason, has turned into this extremely luxurious high-end destination where a single one-way flight to that country from the Netherlands is, I don't know, 200 to 300 euros, which is just outrageous. I start planning my trips, if possible, in advance if my schedules are available, because I don't want to spend a month's rent simply to go and sleep in my own bed, in my own home, in my own country. And it's just so frustrating that getting home, literally just the plane ride home, will cost me as much as a vacation somewhere close to the Netherlands. And when you think about it, I'm saying in the same continent. And I'm not saying that plane traveling should be necessarily cheap. I mean, now, as someone who works part time and doesn't earn a lot, I appreciate that it's still affordable, but like it should be, considering the emissions it creates and the environmental impact it has, it would make sense for it to be more expensive. But the capitalization on people's need to be home for the holidays and wanting to spend time with their friends and family is just crazy, because this is a justification for people to raise plane tickets up to, like, last year I literally spent 500 euros on just simply on planes without checked-in luggage, just for the seat. And that to me is outrageous. I would rather walk. And this time around, I decided that while I don't like skipping class, not only because I pay for it, but because I actually like my current courses, and also because attendance is taken, I will be willing to skip a few classes from the last week so that I can save myself 150 bucks. And that's why I booked my flight as early as possible. And now I am in Bulgaria for a few weeks for Christmas and New Year's. But the issues with the traveling started way, like, a few days prior to my flight. Basically, every single time, I swear, every single time before I have to travel back home to Bulgaria for an extensive period of time being more than 2 weeks at a time, I always lose either my wallet or like a crucial card, like an identity card, my bank card. And I am the type of person, if my head is not attached to my body, I am just certain that I will lose it. I went to this drag pub quiz last week, and by the way, we ended up being second, which um, part of it is owed to my chronic onlineness, which I'm happy it helped us reach such a high ranking, but also it's concerning that I knew all the stuff. But the award was, well, it wasn't air tags, it was knockoff air tags, and they only gave us two for the five of us. So I was just like to my friends, you know what, you take them, I don't need them. I really should have taken one of them. Because, okay, so basically, I have this card, public transport card. In the Netherlands, those are called OV chip card. And these, you have an anonymous and you have a personal version of that card. I have a personal version of that card because if you have a personal version, meaning that it's only to you, you can buy subscriptions for discounts when traveling by train or public transport, or in my case, you can get governmental help, which is called Duo, and you can be assigned, let's say, or loaned a student travel product, which means that if you meet certain criteria, you are eligible to travel for free on a selected by you period of time. And you can choose either between weekdays or weekends. And I decided, because I am eligible for this, and I decided to take this out as a loan right now, and like if you fulfill some requirements, it's going to be converted into a gift. But basically, I decided that I want to take out the weekday subscription to travel on weekdays for free, because my rationality was like, well, it's during the week that I go to work mainly and that I go to university, and I live quite far away from university, and it's better to have free travel on more days of the week than less, while because I normally, unfortunately, I'm not really able to go anywhere over the weekend because I need to study and work. So I don't really, if you do weekend trips, that is perfect. But for my case, a weekday subscription is just better. And that's why, because here's the thing, public transport in the Netherlands is fucking expensive. And as of January 1st, it's going to be even more fucking expensive. I don't know why this tendency is turning into a thing that public transport is becoming a luxury that is unattainable to the masses. Because can you explain to me why a round trip from where I live to Amsterdam is 70 euros? That is just crazy. And basically, that's why, because I have that subscription to travel for free on certain days of the week, I always try, if possible, to plan my traveling to the airport or to wherever I need to go to be on weekdays so that I don't have to pay, because like I mentioned, it is crazy expensive. And basically, I would have to like spend so much money just on traveling, which for me is kind of unjustified, especially considering, I mean, like the conditions are good, but like not good enough for me to spend 70 euros. That is just outrageous to me, especially when I compare it to the buses and the train system in Bulgaria, which also has discounts for students, but is far more affordable even if you are not a student. And that is just, yeah, it's wild to me. And the thing is, that's why sometimes I use Flixbus, because if I have to travel on a day when I'm not eligible to travel for free, I would prefer to take a Flixbus, which even though they take longer and they're at more inconvenient times, they are 4 times less expensive. And this time around though, because I was like, oh, okay, so hear me out. This is complex. My rationality behind stuff is detailed, so hear me out. Basically, like I mentioned, I always plan my trips to be on weekdays if possible so that I can save myself 150 bucks. And basically, what I can do is, because I've told you this before, that Eindhoven Airport closes from midnight until 4:30, and I'm sorry, I'm not spending 100 euros on a hotel room just to spend 4 hours there. That is just crazy to me. And I know there have been people who have talked to me and are like, well, don't you think it's worth it? You can go and you can sleep. No, it's not worth it. Do you know how much 100 euros cost? Like 100 euros is 100 euros. And in this economy, 100 euros may not be much, but it is still very expensive for a 4 hour stay. And it's not an expenditure I can justify with my current salary. Thank you. And basically, what I normally do is I go and take a Flixbus to Amsterdam, and from Amsterdam, I wait for the first train to Eindhoven, and from there, I just go to the airport and go to Bulgaria. But the thing is, this time around, I was traveling with checked in luggage, which is this small suitcase I have, which is supposed to be 10 kilos, but it's never 10 kilos when it's me because I always overpack it. It's just very, very heavy. And I really just, the thing is, public transport in terms of like buses or trams, I mean, my city doesn't have trams, but buses does not run very, very late. And that's why I could not go by Flixbus. I mean, I could, but I really did not want to because I could not take public transport to get on time for my Flixbus, which meant that I would have to walk, which with my normally is 40 minutes, but when it's with luggage, it goes up to an hour, and the whole city is covered in cobblestone and it's just so incredibly inconvenient to have to drag a suitcase through this. So if it is avoidable, I try to avoid it. But for me to avoid it, what I had to do is I had to leave the day prior to my flight and catch a bus to go to the train station. Basically, let me talk in time frames so that you can grasp. And maybe when I tell you this, you would have been like, you know what, I would have paid 100 euros, but I am me and I am cheap to my bones. So basically, 10:15, I leave my, you know what? I wanted to tell you something else prior to the story, but let's first continue this and I'll add another context. So basically, I had to leave 10:15 in the evening my place so that I can catch the 10:45 train to Amsterdam Schiphol. Now, I know I mentioned I fly from Eindhoven, and this time it was no exception. I went to Schiphol because this is the only place that works 24/7. But the thing is, my friend had told me, oh, I think Schiphol changed their working hours and they're no longer available 24/7. So I had to call them and be like, hey, divas, are you open overnight? Because if not, I would have to go. It would make sense to directly go to Eindhoven and just chill there in front of the airport in the cold for 5 hours until they open the doors. But they told me it was open, which I'm super happy about. And they told me they have plugs, which is something I really insisted on them informing me about because yours truly had to study. I mean, I didn't have to, but I kind of had to because I don't want to have to spend my holidays just doing SPSS shit and statistics. I would like to be having like a nice period of at least solid 3 days of nothing doing. I don't want to touch anything university related. I've not been able to do it ever since I came back yet. But hopefully, at least on Christmas, at least on New Year's Eve, I do not want to have to study. And that's why, like I mentioned last week, I've been putting extra pressure on myself to finish most stuff. And now, honestly, when I'm here and I basically have to revise instead of actually go out and do the initial studying, it feels like I'm procrastinating, but then when I think about it, I'm not procrastinating. I'm just well ahead of time. So that's good and I'm grateful for myself, but I really hated myself the last few weeks. So, but hey, it was an investment exactly so that I can come here and have the time that I am having now, which is somewhat less stressed. So, I catch the 10:45 train to Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. I go there. I am immediately greeted by a shitload of rats running loose in the airport, which is nothing new. But again, like, just I'm like, oh, divas, I really kind of hoped. I mean, I know that this is your home, but I kind of hoped you wouldn't be here. I don't mean to be like invading you, but you know. So then I could not find the plugs. Those divas lied to me, and I really would have appreciated the plugs for my laptop because I ended up having to do SPS shit and write out statistics and perform analyses and stuff. But hey, it all worked out for the better. So I went to Schiphol. I arrived at Schiphol around 1 a.m. From there, I had to wait for 4 hours so that I could catch the first train to Eindhoven. And so I waited until 5. Like I mentioned, did SPSS, did statistical analyses, and then I just binge watched The Summer I Turned Pretty. And I would love to talk about The Summer I Turned Pretty. I don't know if I'll have time today, but if not next week, then the week after. This is my space. I can talk about The Summer I Turned Pretty, but if I want to, a year from now, no one is going to stop me. But basically, I shout out to this for keeping me company, and I'm so thankful that I was long-term oriented enough to realize that I had to go and buy some food for that stay, because I would imagine that if I'm staying up for 40 hours, I would, get hungry at a certain point. And I mean, I don't know if you know, but like every single time, and this is something that international students would relate to a lot. Basically, every single time before you leave for going back home or like a trip or whatever, you stop buying groceries a certain number of days prior to your trip so that you can eat everything you have. And by the last day, by the day of your departure, you eat everything that's left. And sometimes that means, in my case, eating 6 eggs in a day. That meant making an egg salad with mushrooms and then just salad dressing. And that honestly sounds disgusting. And now I actually want to puke thinking about it. But it was so good. It slapped so much at 3 a.m. at Schiphol. And then at 5 a.m., mind you, on my train to, I mean, not my train, but on the train to Schiphol, I could not really sleep. And I really, really wanted to sleep for those 2 to something hours, because I knew that after that I would have to, study and just binge watch something. And I couldn't afford myself to fall asleep on the at the airport, because I just fear people might rob me. Not that the airport was necessarily full, but it only takes one person to rob you. And I just kind of wanted to avoid that. And then I just could not sleep on the train there, because there was this family that entered the stop after my stop. They embarked on the train, and the man reeked of weed. I'm telling you, just by his odor, I got off secondhand high from that. It was terrible. Like, it was suffocating, and it gave me a headache, and it was just not really nice. And then, despite me purposefully going to the silent carriage so that I can sleep, and they entered that silent carriage, they did not shut up. And despite me being, like, sometimes in the mood to be confrontational, I'm not by definition a very controversial, what is it? Not KKK. Confrontational person. Confrontational. I'm not by definition hyper I forgot it again. What the fuck is the word? Confrontational. I mean, I could be, I am, but I'm trying to like step back and unlearn certain behaviors. And that's why I didn't say anything. But my God, did they not shut up? And I had brought earplugs, and I had put on my big ass headphones on my head, and I could still hear them as if they were talking to me in my ear, yelling in my ear. So then I chill at Schiphol. I wait for the first train, and on the first train, I'm like, okay, I will be able to sleep on that train, because that train is a little bit over an hour from Amsterdam to Eindhoven, and I just simply could not do that. It was just, yeah, someone, I'm sorry, I know that's very mean of me, but someone smelled like they had shat themselves. And that was something, definitely something. And then from the train station, I rushed to the airport, and I arrive at the airport. I There was nothing eventful apart from the fact that I literally stumbled upon one of my ex-colleagues who I had not seen in such a long time, and that was just so random. But at this point I was becoming delirious. And the thing is, I okay, you know how I mentioned, like, what, 10 minutes ago, that I'm cheap? When I say I'm cheap, I mean I am cheap when it comes to traveling. And that's why I am not going to book a seat. I will just go with random seat allocation. And I maybe should have paid for a seat this time around because I was in a lot of pain because my knee hurts like a bitch. But I'll tell you about this another time. But basically, I was assigned a middle seat. And I was really annoyed with that because my knee hurts and I had to stretch my knee every now and then because otherwise I would just feel this paralyzing pain and I would just be unable to move my leg for a certain amount of time. And I was very concerned about this. And then the second I sat on that middle seat, I passed out immediately to the point that I did not even get to hear the safety instructions of the flight. I was out of it immediately. And I slept for a little bit until 1700 crying babies decided to wake me up because they were performing a beautiful symphony. And then when we landed, I just need to give a shout out to that pilot because I am someone who, because I live abroad, I've been flying on planes quite a lot the past few years. I was actually trying to calculate how many plane trips I've taken this year, and the answer is more than 10, which is concerning, which is really, really concerning. Um, but yeah, as someone who has had her fair share of plane rides in my time so far, that was the best landing I've ever experienced. Because, like, for example, and all respect to Ryanair, I did not fly with Ryanair, I flew with Wizz. Ryanair, I love their marketing strategy. I don't love traveling with them because I just I feel like the planes are very, very narrow. And the thing is, Ryanair, in my experience, the few times I've flown with them, they don't land, they arrive. And this was my first time flying ever. I flew again with Wizz, that I did not just arrive, I landed. And it was so smooth. And every single time before landing, I just braced myself for the impact of my life because recently, like, the landings have been really bad. I mean, I'm super thankful that there's still safe landings and that there's no evacuation emergency situation, but they have been very abrupt landings with a lot of jumps after we hit the ground. And that's just not, like, super pleasant, especially because, like, you basically start hitting the seat in front of you. And this was the smoothest plane landing I have ever experienced. And I was bracing myself, and then I was like, oh shit, we landed, and I barely felt anything. So shout out to them, really shout out to them. And then I want to say something. I mean, that's the whole point of the podcast, me wanting to say stuff. I just wonder, like, sometimes I stay up at night and wonder, do men feel extra manly when they push you and shove you and yell at you so that they can cut you off, cut you so that they can go through passport control before you? Like, where did they get off? Like, what, sir, you're a child, and you're a child that is, like we say in my language, is lacking the first 7 years. What, you will not be declined entrance to the country if you get through passport control 2 minutes later, or like something like this. Like, calm down, please. Please, for the love of God. And it's just like, in moments like these, I'm like, damn. And those are supposed to be the protectors. Those are actually the people I need to protect myself from. Yeah, that's just like, whatever. You know what? I don't really want to go there right now, because I mean, I always have it in me to be, you know what? I always have it in me to be agitated and to be angry and to be anti the patriarchy and the system of oppression which it encompasses. But now, because I've been so sleep deprived, because guys, I'm just going to continue with the story because I'm so sleep deprived. I've been so, this is, I feel like, the first time I'm experiencing jet lag in my life. And the thing is, the time difference from Bulgaria and then between Bulgaria and the Netherlands is literally just a single hour. And I just feel like because of this trip, I couldn't really like rest. And despite me napping for an hour on the plane, I don't really consider this sleep. So I basically went um almost 48 hours without sleeping, and that really messed me up, and now really messed up my sleeping schedule, because I go to bed, like, I mean, yes, I did have to finish the summer term pretty, and that's why I stayed up until 4. And I meant I had to, because today my free trial for Amazon Prime is ending, and I'm just not going to pay for this. So I was like, I really need to finish it. So that's why I had to binge 4 episodes in one after the other. And that's why I stayed until 4. But basically, I've been struggling so much with just, actually going to bed and falling asleep. I'm just so awake, and so my sleep schedule is completely messed up. And I feel like by the time I actually get it in order, I will have to leave and I'll need to acclimatize again, which is something, you know what, I'm not looking forward to it, but let's, like, it's something, it's a problem for future me. Current me needs to focus on obtaining some sleep right now, because guys, not only is the sleep debt generational, and I mean generational, my under eye bags, I'm putting too much trust into that caffeine serum I have from The Ordinary, because while it is a really nice product so far, I cannot count on it to basically, I don't have a bag. I have a suitcase under my eyes because I've been losing so much sleep, and just I look so puffy, and it's just crazy to me, and just so wrinkled, and those under eye bags, I need them gone. It's just, it's not aesthetics things. It's just, it hurts me. Like, my eyes are burning, and this is also an indication. And I I will not be able to sleep today because I'm going out with friends, and my friends and I, we always stay out until late because we hardly ever get a chance to see each other because everyone is everywhere but home. So my mom always tells me when I come home, she's like, yeah, just go out, have fun. Like, you'll sleep when you get to the Netherlands. And we all know that I will not sleep when I go to the Netherlands because I have other stuff to tend to. But I fully get the message she's trying to tell me. She's like, go and have fun now with those people now today, because tomorrow you will not be here and those people will not be here and you will not be able to have fun together. So go and enjoy your time there. And this is a bit of an unhealthy thingy of saying like, oh, there are no memories created when sleeping, because sleep is so crucial. But I fully get the point, and I am willing to sacrifice a bit more sleep these days so that I can create nice memories and so that I can be in the presence of people I love and know they love me. Then, like, feel well rested, which hopefully I can also do somewhat soon while here, because I just love my bed here. Like, this is something my parents really, I feel like, feel bad for me when I come here, because when I come here and I'm like, oh my god, guys, I'm sleeping in a bed where the springs, because like the frame underneath the bed frame is not making a symphony simply by me breathing, because the way my bed creaks when I'm in the Netherlands, like guys, I told you last week or the week before that, I don't remember. Time is a mystery, time is a blur, life is a blur. I told you I have to basically edit out so many likes that I say. You have no idea how many creaks I have to edit out. And to the point that sometimes I have to go and re-record a certain part of the podcast because I've moved without realizing, and the microphone picks up on the creaking. And that's just like really not the vibe. And here is just so nice. And I'm like, guys, you don't know what it's like to have finally access to a bathroom where there's water pressure in the shower, and if someone washes the dishes or goes to the bathroom and flushes, you're still going to have water while showering. Like, oh my god, it's so luxurious. And they're like, wow, you really are giving us a new perspective of putting things into, like, like, because those are things you come to take for granted. And then when they're taken away from you, you're like, damn, I really should have appreciated my nicely isolated room that does not, and like that a hurricane doesn't enter every single day because it's so not isolated when it's just blowing through. So when you change your perspective, you start being appreciative, but the way to change your perspective sometimes is that. But where was I? Okay, so after being shoved and pushed and like yelled at by men for being first in line or like just passing first through the gates, I was supposed to go. Bulgaria has Sofia, not Bulgaria. Sofia has two terminals, Terminal 1 and Terminal 2. And between Terminal 1 and Terminal 2, there is I don't know how often it goes. I would imagine every 15 minutes there is a shuttle bus that takes you from one terminal to the other free of charge. And the thing is, I've been on that shuttle bus many a times, and this time around, where the shuttle bus stops, a bigger bus stop, because like uh the shuttle bus is basically like a van, but this time what stopped was like an actual transport bus. And I thought, oh my god, they're so thoughtful. They know that over the Christmas holidays there's going to be way more passengers, so they decided to accommodate this and actually release larger shuttle buses to accommodate more people. How thoughtful. Shout out Bulgaria. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, what happened is that I get on this bus, and after following everybody, because everybody gets on that bus, hence me also further assuming that it's the shuttle bus, just to realize that it is not the shuttle bus, and it's actually a bus that goes through the entirety of Sofia's city center. And there was a big ass traffic jam, because of course there is, because this is the capital, and this is not only the capital, this is Sofia. Of course there is a traffic jam. And I was supposed to meet up with a friend. And the thing is, Sofia Terminal 2 has access to the underground. Sofia Terminal 1 does not. And my friend, she always comes to pick me up by underground. And I was like, you know what? I'll just go and like I'll meet her halfway there so that we don't waste time going back and forth. And I thought I was doing some good. And I thought I was on my way to Terminal 2. I apparently was not. Or, I mean, like, technically I was. It would just first have to do an entire round around the city center, which meant that that would take at least an hour. And I only realized this after 20 minutes of being on that bus, because I was like, see, normally, like, the shuttle bus doesn't take more than 5 minutes. Like, I know this is traffic jam, and Sofia, mind you, is uncharted territory for me. I'm just so unfamiliar with it. When I later met up with my friend and we were going places, I was like, oh my god, we've been here, right? Like, we've been to this cafe, and like we came here to eat cinnamon rolls, and this is where the time before that we had brunch, right? And she's like, absolutely not, that was at the other end of the city. It's just, I've never had to care about memorizing Sofia, because I've always, if I go there, it's mainly to the airport. The airport is before you enter the city. So why the fuck would I care about memorizing streets and neighborhoods? Like, it does not concern me. I cannot tell you the streets of the town I grew up in, I lived in for 19 years, and you want me to tell you the streets and neighborhoods in a town, in a city I go to just to fly from and fly to. That's just simply not happening. And basically, I'm traveling for 20 minutes, and in those 20 minutes, mind you, there was a Dutch couple, an older compared to me. They were in their late 40s, early 50s, and they were trying to navigate this, like, how do I say it? Like, basically where you check in and out of the bus. And mind you, because the shuttle bus is free of charge, I did not check in the bus, and turns out I should have checked in. I just did, like, I was a free rider. I was completely a free rider, and thank God nobody came to, like, check on us. But basically, this couple, because where you check in and out, it tells you what street you're on, like what stop, and what is the next one. And they were trying to switch it to English so that they could understand, because obviously Bulgarian uses the Cyrillic alphabet, and this is an alphabet that they're unfamiliar with. And I told them, yeah, no, this is not a touch screen. Like, you cannot scroll down to see what stops are next. And they were like, oh, yeah, okay. But does this bus go to Terminal 2? And this, they ask me at the period when I'm convinced that this goes to Terminal 2. And I'm like, oh, yeah, absolutely. No worries. Yes, this is also where I'm going. 20 minutes later, they ask the girl next to me, I'm sorry, is this going to Terminal 2? And the girl says, oh, no, this is going to Sofia City Center. And this is also when I realize. And I just turn around and I feel like so incredibly bad, because I really thought I was helping those people. But basically, I was just so confused, and I ended up lying to them. But it's okay. Dutch people lie to me all the time. It's just like karma. But no. I genuinely felt really bad, because I think they had just arrived to Terminal 1. I don't know if they had to go to Terminal 2 to catch a plane, to catch an underground, to do like a layover. I don't know. I really don't know. And if they had to catch a plane and they missed it, those people will put a curse on my entire bloodline. So I fear I will have to go get that black magic dispelled, because no, but I swear it was not intentional. I myself was confused, and I felt super bad for them, to the point that I said sorry, but I was terrified of looking them in the eye, and I just know that they were telling themselves, fuck this Bulgarian girl, she lied to us, how dare she, blah 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 blah. And that's when I realized that I should stop. Like, I became super highly conscious of the fact that Sofia is just so unfamiliar to me. And then later that day, when another woman approached me to ask me for directions, I was like, ma'am, I have no clue. I literally just arrived. It was giving that meme of, like, when they're asking, I don't know who he is, I'm so sorry, I don't know his name, but this political figure, and they're asking him a lot of questions, and he's just like, I just arrived. And that was me, literally me. Because I was like, you know what? I would rather tell them I don't know than pretend like I know, because I think I do, despite me actually not knowing. But I genuinely believed I knew, and just lying to those people and sending them out to, like we say in my language, to go look out for green caviar. Uh, but yeah, so my friend comes to pick me up from a completely different stop than the one we had agreed upon. And mind you, my bus does not stop at the stop where my friend is waiting. So we had to go to the other one, which at this point I was so done. I was sweating my ass off, because I came here with my thickest jacket. I came here prepped for winter. Why the fuck is it 12 degrees outside during the day? I am sweating. Like, I came here for winter. I came here for Christmas. And I would appreciate, I would devour some snow. I would be fascinated if a snow, like a few snowflakes just appeared. But the thing is, mind you, I need to preface something. If, God, the universe, faith, whoever is listening, when I say I would love and appreciate some snow, please don't do it like last year, because last year it snowed so much. It was the first white Christmas we had had in a long time, but it snowed so much that it was an emergency situation in the country, and there were a lot of trees that had fallen down. And in my house in particular, we did not have power for 7 days. And the thing is, my house is the last house in the village. It's so high up that it doesn't reach the communal water pipe system. We need to have like our own, like, how to explain that, our own water system. We had to dig so that we can have access to water. And for that system to work, we need to have power. So for 7 days, we did not have power and we did not have water. And thankfully, it was cold enough for our food to be preserved, but we could not go anywhere because there were trees falling down the road, and the roads, like the places, were inaccessible. Like when I tried to go out and look at the situation, because I just hate being feeling like I'm trapped in the house. I mean, I love my home by all means. It's just I love also spending time outside. And when I went out just to take a walk, I could not walk because the snow was above my knees. So that was definitely something. So the first warm meal I had was on New Year's. So please, when I say I would appreciate and love some snow, emphasis on the some, because last year definitely was excessive. And I mean, I guess it would have been great for filling up the rivers and other bodies of water, but that was something. Yes. What did I want to say? Oh yeah, so I just came with my thickest jackets and I'm sweating my ass off in that bus. And my friend and I finally get together, and we go to this Christmas market in front of the Palace of Culture, and then we walk through the city center, and we're just like chilling, catching up, and then I go to take a bus from Sofia to my hometown. Mind you, I've not slept still. This is so I leave Schiphol at 5. I arrive in Eindhoven around 7. I catch the 9 a.m. plane, and then I land around 12:30. They were like super like fast with the plane this time around. And then my friend and I finally meet around 1:32. So I had spent more than an hour trying to figure out my way around Sofia unsuccessfully. So then I catch a bus to my hometown, which is another 3 hours on top. And yes, so maybe some of you now were thinking, girl, just spend 100 euros and sleep before that. Because yes, at this point, I was so out of it. But it still was really, really nice to catch up with her. And before we had gone to the Christmas market, we stopped by the central bus station so that I can leave my luggage for storage, so that I did not have to carry it throughout Sofia with me. And they have their prices listed, and based on that price list I had to pay like 6 leva or something like this. And then as I'm about to pay the 6 leva, they tell me it's 10. And I'm like, oh, okay. And like I mentioned, I'm trying to not be confrontational, but shout out to my friend. My friend was like, I'm sorry, this does not say 10 leva. So why the fuck are you charging her 10 leva? And they're like, fine, we'll give you a discount. It's 8. And I was like, just leave it. There you go. Here's 8 leva. Just they were like, "Oh, we need to be generous with the young and like the youth because we have to give to the youth because the youth is our future, you know? So we are doing something kind to you today. Do something kind to others." And my friend and I were like, "Yeah, they're doing something kind to us by overcharging us by 2 leva." But yes, they are basically giving us a discount from the overcharging that they were trying to do to us initially. So I guess a win is a win. But then I go to the bus and I'm so ready to pass out. And mind you, my knee is killing me. I can barely walk. And I'm just so ready to have those 3 hours. It's at this point, it's already dark. I am ready to just be like out, complete to pass out like this. I just cannot wait to sit down, close my eyes, and just wake up at home. And as I get on the bus and I'm like, "Hi, Mr. Driver. I actually don't live where this bus goes to. That's in the town. I live a few villages before the town. Do you think you could drop me off here and you would save me 30 minutes of traveling back and forth from the village to the town? Could you please?" And he was like, "Girl, I got you. Don't worry. It's Tuesday. There's almost the bus is almost empty. Just take your luggage up with you and just get out. Don't worry, don't worry." So shout out to Mr. Driver. Mr. Driver, you saved me 30 minutes, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but when you've been traveling at that point for 20 hours, 30 minutes, I mean, at this point, you're already numb. And if you had told me you need to get on a flight that's going to take 10 hours, I would have been just acceptive of my faith. But 30 minutes is 30 minutes, you know? And I was super, super happy that he allowed me to do that because a lot of the times they are not really willing to do that because they're like, "Oh, if I stop at this village for you, then I would have to stop at this village for someone else." And I get it. I fully, fully get it. So shout out to him for agreeing. And I love you, Mr. Driver. And then I go up the bus and I'm getting all giddy. I'm looking at my ticket to see which seat I have booked because at this time around, I actually booked a particular seat from a particular side, always the driver's side. And when it comes to buses, always the window seat so that I can lean and just sleep. And as I am getting as I get on the last step of the bus, I just hear someone call my name. And I at first think I'm hallucinating because it's just like, what the fuck? Like, that's no, no. And then I see this guy I went to kindergarten with and who actually lives in the Netherlands. And we just talked for the entire bus ride, which was really nice. It was really nice to catch up. It was really nice to have some conversations. But my God, was I exhausted. And to the point that at a certain point, I fear I might have sleep talked. I just closed my eyes because my eyelids were getting too heavy for me to keep open. And I was talking something, and then he replied, and I was like, shit, I don't know what we're talking about. Once I gained full awareness of where I am and what's going on, I was like, I have no clue what I just said. And it felt embarrassing to bring it up and be like, "You know what, for the past 2 minutes I've just been talking, but I have no clue what I'm saying." And sometimes that happens to me on the podcast, not because like I yap aimlessly, but it's because sometimes when I record at 2, 3 a.m. and I just close my eyes because my eyes are burning and I just start talking and I only hear what I've talked about in the podcast once I edit it because I just have no recollection of it. So that's the creative process for you. But I think because we were close to the driver and he could hear us our conversations, I think he really wanted us to just shut the fuck up and sleep, and that's why he turned up the heat system so much and it was blasting me in my face and it was so warm and cozy, and I was just like, oh my God, I wanted to sleep so bad. And then I get off at that village. My mom comes to pick me up. We go home. And now, do I tell you the story first or do I tell you the OV chip card? I will tell you the OV chip card story first to keep a little bit of suspense. So, the OV chip card story first. A few days, because I think I started mentioning this and then I forgot to complete the story because this is a lot of the times how it happens when I talk. Like, do you remember in the beginning of the episode I told you every now and then I lose before I have to travel for an extensive period of time, I lose my wallet or an important card. So a few, like literally, that happened Wednesday. I had to leave on Monday. And those offices that I had to make use of don't work on weekends. So, and they don't deliver on Mondays. So I was kind of had a day, literally a day to react. Basically, I am going after work to this place to buy a remedy for my knee, and I'll tell you what happened with my knee in the next episode or the episode after that. Or like I told you, my podcast, my show, I can talk about stuff that happens now. I can talk about it in a year. Like there's no timeline. I create a timeline. And basically I'm going to buy a remedy. Going is a very like it's the overstatement of the century, and limping is the overstatement of the century. I am dragging my foot because I just simply could not walk. But the thing is, there was no bus that could take me from my work to that place where I had to go to buy the remedy. So I go there and I buy whatever it is that I have to buy. And then from there, I go to the bus stop, and it's taking me a lot of effort. Like, mind you, this is from the store to the bus stop, it's 60 meters, not more. I am on the verge of tears. And as I reach that bus stop, I go out to take my OV chip card, my travel card, because I need to get on the bus, and I cannot find it. And I start panicking and I look through everything multiple times, look in every single pocket. I cannot find it. So I go back to the Kruidvat, which is what the store is called, to look for the card. And they're closing down in a minute, mind you. And they let me in the store and I could not find it. So I was like, shit, it must have fallen because I took the bus from university to work because, again, I could not walk. And I was like, it must have fallen on that bus stop because from that bus stop I directly went to work, and from work I directly came here. So let me just walk back through everything. Something that normally takes 15 minutes to walk with my normal pace, which I admit my normal pace of walking is a bit faster than the average because I have no time to lose. I'm a busy woman. Um that with my crazy limp took an hour. And I was in so much pain, and I was looking everywhere for that card, but it was already dark outside, and I just could not find it because there was also such strong winds, and I was like, the card must have flown away, or like someone already took it and is using it. And I went on the app to see if someone had used it since then, but the app did not register any of my traveling, and it was like a complete shit show. And I looked at it then at work the day after. I could not find it. I literally could not find it. So I had to block it and order a new one. But the thing is, by the time those cards, they take 2 weeks to arrive on average. And like I told you, this happened on Wednesday. By the time I look for it on Thursday and then block it and then order it, it's already Thursday evening, so they can only start working on it on Friday. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm fucked because now I will have to pay for the public transport I'm going to use to get to Amsterdam, and from Amsterdam to Eindhoven, which is because it is two separate trains. And like you can buy a ticket from where I live to Eindhoven. But the thing is, because I would have to travel to Eindhoven after 5 and the ticket is only valid until 4, I basically would have to buy a second ticket. So I was like, fuck, all of this is going to cost me 70 euros just on the way there. And then I would have to actually spend another 70 something because they're raising the prices on my way back. And like at this rate, I could have just flown from Amsterdam and like saved myself all the trouble of going a day earlier and save myself a trip that took me 23 hours to complete. And then I'm so pissed at myself. I'm losing sleep over this. And I'm just like, how can you be so stupid? Every single time you travel, you lose something, and then you lose something that is crucial to your traveling. How can you be like this? And then the day after, on Friday, I'm just traveling using my like buying normal tickets. And then I on Saturday just receive an email, not an email. I go on LinkedIn because I was like, oh, wait, I really want to see if this. I wanted to reach out to one professor, and I was like, oh, should I reach out on LinkedIn or should I reach out over email? And I was like, let me see his LinkedIn. I walk on LinkedIn, and I just see someone had commented on my last post, which was about me distributing this survey I'm conducting. And this girl says, hey, did you by any chance lose your public transport card? If you did, I left it at the Yumbo over there. And I am in complete and utter shock. Mind you, at this point, I had already blocked the card and I could not unblock it. I immediately contacted the office of the company which issues the cards, and they're like, yeah, no, you cannot unblock it, and we've already accepted your order for a new card. There's nothing we can do, I'm sorry. And still, I was so fucking thankful to that girl because I mean, like, she could have taken that card. And yes, it is a personal one, but like if she hid the face or because there is a picture, if you hide the face or if you hide the name, you can still use it and travel for free. But she didn't. And I'm so thankful she actually found me. And shout out to LinkedIn. You know what? I always shit on LinkedIn. I don't like LinkedIn as a platform. Shout out to LinkedIn. You know what? Like, you are gaining an extra point tonight with me because that was just amazing. And I felt lighter than air because I was like, oh my god. But then, like, again, it was blocked, and I was like, oh, if I had only waited one more day. Like, patience is a virtue that I cannot practice. But then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, no, it's the smarter thing to block it immediately, even if it's found out um later that you can find the card and have access to it back. It's better to block it because finding that card again is not a guarantee. So, and then I come home on Saturday evening and I see a letter to me, addressed to me from like some sort of an institution, and I'm like, oh fuck. What are they fining me for now? What money do I owe? Who do I owe? Blah 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 blah. And I'm just like so done with life at this point. My knees hurting. I'm sleep deprived. I lost my OV chip card. I'm just like not living my best life. And I opened that envelope to see my new OV chip card. So I ended up traveling for free to Amsterdam and from Amsterdam to Eindhoven. And I'm so incredibly happy for this because, again, I just saved myself 150 bucks. And shout out to that girl. I offered to buy her a box of chocolates or a bouquet of flowers or like anything as a thank you, and she completely declined, and she was like, no, for me it was the right thing to do, and like you saying thank you is more than enough of a reward. So yeah, shout out to that girl. I'm super appreciative. I always, when I find stuff someone has lost, I always try to reach the person who, if there is an indication who the person is, or try to give it to someone like at a store or just reported lost, because I know what it's like to lose your stuff. Again, if my head was not attached to my body, I would be looking for it too. And it's just so nice to see that if I lost something, there are people out there who would try to reach out to me and get me my stuff back instead of using it for their personal gain. So that kind of like restored a sliver of my faith in humanity. And then let's continue to the conclusion of my trip. So I have traveled for 23 hours. At this point, I had not slept 40 hours and I'm exhausted and I'm arriving home. I am delirious. I don't know what's going on. And I just cannot wait to get home, eat, shower, and pass out for at least 12 hours. And then I had ordered JBL headphones from this site called Emac, which is basically like the back on Amazon. And the reason I ordered it from there is because if I had ordered them in the Netherlands, they wouldn't have arrived on time because I wanted to give them to myself as a Christmas gift to put under the tree and to open and be like, oh, I have new headphones, blah, 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 blah. I really just need a new pair. And I ordered those a few weeks ago. They arrived 2 weeks ago. And I had my mom and my sister open them and just check if they're working. But I get home, I see them on my desk, and I'm so excited to just turn them on and see what they're like. And then, of course, I was going to put them back in the box and to put them under the tree. And then I go on my desk and I'm so giddy and I'm excited to open them and see how they work, see how they look. And of course, afterwards, I was going to put them in the box and put them under the tree and be like, oh my God, on Christmas morning, I have a gift from Santa. What is it? And it's just something I bought for myself. And those I bought 2 weeks ago. A few weeks ago, they arrived 2 weeks ago. And I opened them. And instead of seeing JBL headphones, and mind you, this is the brand I've been using for years. And I'm happy with their products. I am loyal to them when it comes to headphones because it's just for in my experience they've been really good. And I just wanted to buy like a higher class compared to the ones I've been using up until now because I use my headphones every single day for a big chunk of the day. And I, up until now, have been having overhead headphones, and the cushions are made of this material that really easily rips. So I wanted to buy leather ones. And I've been saving up money, I've been wanting to buy them, and I opened the box, and you can imagine someone just texted me. Let me just stop my notifications. And as you can imagine, you can imagine my frustration when instead of JBL headphones, I basically see the biggest knock-off of the year. Like, JBL, it's GMT. What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? And basically, turns out this is my first time buying, by the way, from Emac. And this is not apparently something distributed by Emac. It is distributed by Emac, but it's not sold by Emac. But the thing is, I had conducted research and I had looked at reviews, and the reviews were positive. And turns out it was like a seller that sells on Emac. And basically, that shit. So the cushions, they're supposed to be in moments like this, I really wish Dirty Martini was a video podcast because I could show them to you. But the cushions, they're supposed to be at least 3 centimeters thick. That is less than a centimeter thick. They don't have the indications of left and right. The buttons are on the left side instead of the right. The charging slot is on the outside instead of the inside. There's cables flying all around. And it's just so fucking frustrating. And then I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'm mistaken. And I go to turn them on, and I just hear, the Bluetooth device is available. And I'm like, fuck this shit, man, because I paid for original ones, and I got this shit. And I go immediately on the platform, and I'm like, I want my money back. I want to return this. This is basically you making fun of me. And at this point, all the exhaustion left my body. I did no longer want to sleep. I wanted to fight. And I go on Emac and I try to start a process of return, and I'm unable to. I am just simply unable to. Because the seller no longer exists. Yeah. Yeah. So I reach out to Emac, but it's the middle of the night. So I am replied to by this AI bot, and I'm so fucking frustrated because we all know my opinion of AI. If you don't know my opinion of AI, listen to last week's episode. But also, I'm fucking frustrated because it doesn't understand anything I'm trying to say. Then the day after, I reach out to Emac, and they're like, oh, just so you know, like, we cannot guarantee anything because we're just the distributors. This is a seller who uses our platform. And this opens up an entire conversation of who should be held responsible when someone uses their platform. And like, should Amazon be held responsible if someone sells knockoff products on Amazon? Should Facebook be held accountable if someone uses the platform to distribute hate or to bully someone or to start a terrible movement of terrorism or something like this? Who is held accountable? Is it the platforms or is it the sellers themselves? And while this is a big conversation to be had, I just want to quickly say that I think that while I understand, cannot overlook every single person who sells on your platform, you still should carry some sort of a responsibility because it is your name on there. I am entering that platform because you are a trusted platform, and for you to afford the selling of such goods is just incredibly frustrating. And then I tried to start a return process through talking to a customer service representative, and then they called me, but I am always on do not disturb. So obviously I did not pick up because I got the call, but I didn't get the call. And I tried to reach out to them. I tried to call them, and I was losing sleep. Mind you, also, the box that they arrived in, because I keep my original boxes, twice as small, and the cables inside is just a single cable. It was supposed to be 2 cables. The booklets inside that are supposed to be warranty information about the product and so on and so forth, which are supposed to be like 3 booklets. A single flyer written in Mandarin. And I was so fucking frustrated. And I was like, man, did I mess up something in the order? And when you go to the order page, and you can see I ordered the ones that last 72 hours. On the page, on the box, it says 57 hours is such a fucking random number of hours. It's not even 2 days, it's not even 3 days. What the fuck is it then? Like, at least make it 48 for fuck's sake. And I was so frustrated, as you can probably tell, because this was something I've been saving up money towards, and I am never again buying from Emac. It's probably, I'm sure not all sellers are like this. I'm sure it has nice products, but I've been burnt once. I don't want to be burnt again. I don't want to be burnt on the stake, babe. I really don't want to. And then the customer service representative, I couldn't reach out to them anymore. And today is the last day when the process of returning the product could start, because unlike the Emac specific return policy, which is 30 days, that seller had a policy of 14 days, and there was no form of contact left for them. So yes, I know I claim to be media literate. That was a big media literacy moment for me. I am embarrassed to say all of this, but let's not be embarrassed. We've all been lied to. And these are sellers who are trying to lie to us and scam us so that they can take our money. And today, I reached to a third customer service representative, because yesterday, when I was trying to reach out to the first one, I reached out to a second one. And today, shout out to that babe. Shout out, honey. Like, you helped me so much. And she actually started the process of return. And someone is going to come and pick this GMT instead of JBL. And the thing is, it is up to the seller to issue the refund. So they're going to take the product, but we don't know if I'm going to get my money back, babe. We really don't know this. And you know how I've been telling you the entire episode how I'm not a confrontational person? If those bitches take the product and don't give me back my money, I am turning to the authorities. There is a specific wing from the government which is devoted to protecting customers from situations like these. I am turning to them. I am turning to them. I am bringing my friend who is a lawyer in the making, and I just fucking cannot believe this shit. Like, and they're so much lighter than my current pair, which is supposed to be twice as light. And it was so fucking frustrating. And the Bluetooth device is available. I don't know, man. I will keep you updated on that situation. But that genuinely, after the day I had with starting with the rats, starting with like the man who reeked of weed, then the person who reeked of shit, then like the man shoving me messing up the buses, and like just the middle seat and the knee pain of it all, and just like me being so fucking sleep deprived, and to end my day like this, that felt personal. And honestly, it was. But again, stuff don't happen to me, stuff doesn't happen at me. It's just a story for the podcast. And I really hope you enjoyed that story, because while I did not enjoy living it, I enjoyed telling it to you and ranting about it. And if that's not the beauty of life, I don't know what is. But anyways, guys, that basically concludes my 23-hour trip story. I am not looking forward to doing all of this again in a few weeks, but let's leave that as a problem for future me. Current me wants to thank you all so much for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed listening to it more than I enjoyed living it. But yeah, I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, stay hydrated, wear sunscreen, and don't support genocide. Bye!